Hey, everybody, welcome to the Coaches Season. I'm your host, Coach Jay Fry, and it is a blessing to bring today's message to you. You see, recently we've had some issues with some people that we've worked with, and it's been one of those things that they just reacted. They reacted so quick that a bad decision occurred. And so whether it was something that was said poorly, or that it was done, an action that occurred simply because they reacted so fast that it was something that they couldn't take back. You see, your reactions, you can't take back. You don't have that time. We've got to have this idea of a pause in between stimulants and the keyword response. It doesn't say a pause between stimulus and reaction. So our goal here is to give you something that you can do today, tomorrow, on Monday, as a way to respond instead of react. So my man, Dr. Alex Auerbach, he made a post and he said, youth sports is a major untapped avenue for alleviating mental health issues of today's young people. So we're gonna focus on this piece here. If we can teach kids how to respond resilient, respond, not react, but respond resilient. If we can have a way for them to talk more effectively to themselves. And the third, set and reach goals. So we've got here youth sports. We've got these kids that are struggling as they get a little bit older. They're struggling to, they're struggling in the mental space and they're struggling to stay into sports. And it's because we've done this poor job of figuring out these three answers and how we can help serve them. And even if you are not a coach, even if you don't work with athletes, you're working with teammates, you're working with team members, you're working with grown-ups who still might not be doing it this way. How many grown-ups do you know respond resilient? Find a way to talk more effectively to themselves. Like the things we say to ourselves. And then how to set and reach goals. Like how often are we setting them? How often are we reaching them? How often are we measuring them as we progress? So let's dive in. How to respond resilient. Earlier I said not react. You see, the most important thing is to almost have something that you're ready for. The military has contingency plans. Most businesses have contingency plans. Anytime that there's risk management, there's a contingency plan. But what we're not teaching people is that they too can have one as well. So ahead of time. So today we're going to create a contingency for all different manners. You're in sports, you're an athlete, and the person knocks you down. Well, you have a very fast option. How you react. You can get up in their face, show them that you mean business, show them that you're not scared of them, or you can respond accordingly. Why did they do that? Are they doing it because they're frustrated? And then now your response, your reaction can play a major change in the game. What are you going to do? What would you do if somebody knocked you to the floor? Would you take a second to go, okay, was that on purpose? Was that intentional? Like, what went on there? Major importance. How to respond resilient. How can we respond resilient? Do we have this option? Do we have what we need to respond resiliently? So when you get hit with rejection, when you get hit with a negative thing, you get hit with adversity, a struggle, a challenge, how can you respond? How can you respond resiliently so that you can keep showing up, so that you don't go, That was really stressful. I don't want to do that. I don't want to experience that again. I'm not going to do that and experience that again. So I just won't do it. What are we creating with our kids? What are we creating with our athletes when they experience something like that and then they just decide it's not worth it? Just because it was hard, it was embarrassing. We've got to be more resilient. So having your response ahead of time. If somebody's going to call you names, if somebody's going to do this, that, and the other, do you have a response for how you're going to do it? Are you going to turn away? Are you going to walk away? We work with my kiddo, my 8-year-old. If something happens, he's going to stand up to the bully and get in their face. He's going to get close, make eye contact, and get very loud with this kid. So this bully understands that we're not taking this lightly. We're not doing it. So that's what we want to do. How do we have a response? Do you have a response instead of just reacting automatically? Because typically those reactions do not serve us well. Respond resiliently. Number 2 is to talk more effectively to ourselves, to themselves. How can we talk more effectively to ourselves? How can we be the person that somebody goes through a breakup and you are the best person to talk to because you're like, hey, man, you're just so much better than they are. Or it's okay, it wasn't the right time, blah, blah, blah. You're the best advice giver to somebody else, but you're the most critical to yourself. And so that's what's hindering your growth. The words that you're saying to yourself. How can we speak more effectively to ourselves? Where can we give grace when needed? Where can we go without emotion, without this attack on character? How do we grow and get better? What could we ask to be more effective here? Speaking here. We don't want to react. We want to respond. How can we respond more effectively? By talking to ourselves. Talk yourself through this. I need to make sure I'm sticking tall when I shoot the basketball. I want to plant my leg when I'm kicking that ball through. Whatever the action is, I want to be able to effectively talk to myself. I didn't do it. How could I do it? How could I do it better? That's what great coaches do. They don't tell you what you did wrong. They tell you a way that you can improve it so the very next time it's a little bit better. The great coaches, everybody already knows that you did it wrong. How do I get better? How do I do that better next time? Talk to myself more effectively. Number 3 here, guys, is set and reach goals. One of the best people I've ever met was Nick Lavery in terms of setting and reaching goals. He knows exactly what the mission is. He knows exactly what the objective is. These little objectives go throughout our life. We're going to have little objectives, little goals that reach the big ass goal. So what do? We've got to learn what to set, how to move forward, how to just rep after rep after rep so we can build this experience and then grow a little bit better, grow a little bit stronger, get a little bit more improved in certain areas. We have to test those limits. So creating and setting goals has got to be this idea of, I need to know where I'm at. I need to understand that. So then I can set my goal. And then I can go, okay, well, what are the little goals? How can I just piece by piece? You know, when we're on the mountains, we go to one spot. We don't think top. No, we're going to think, all right, I need to go 2 switchbacks and then stop. That's our goal. That's the objective. Get to that spot. The mission is to top. The mission is actually to the bottom. How do we get to the top and then descend down? I need to break up my big ass goal into little objectives that can get me to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. How can I do that? So spend some time setting with your kids, with the people that you're with, your teammates. What are great goals? Hey, we want to get 25 sales this month. We're averaging 4. Please show me what that looks like. And then how do I do that daily? How do I do that from a week standpoint? I'll let the month figure it out. If I do it daily and I do it weekly, then the month's going to work out. So I must examine what my goals are for each day. And then attack, and then attack, and then attack. Get those goals done. What did that feel like? How did that go? What issues did I have? And then be able to build on that daily, every single day. We can help with the mental issues of not just kids and athletes, but in parents and in leaders and in your business team. We have this unique ability right now, and that is to do these 3 things. 2, respond resilient. 2, talk effectively to ourselves. 2, set and reach goals. So I'm going to give you some homework. I'm going to leave you with this. How might you respond resilient? Give me 3 things right now on a piece of paper. 3 situations that might likely occur. Okay, that have the highest probability of occurring. And instead, write how you're going to respond to that. How are you going to respond to the failure? How are you going to respond when somebody knocks you down on the court, on the field, on whatever? How are you going to respond? What are the steps that that's going to look like? 3 things. What are words? 3 more. What are words that we can say to talk more effectively to ourselves, to give grace when there's a mess up? How are we going to do that? What words are we going to use so that when we do need the grace, that we can give it to ourselves and to them? Number 3, I want you to write down your big ass goal. I want you to write it down. And then I want you to write a daily goal that you can do. And then a weekly goal. Don't worry about the month. Don't worry about the time frame. Normally, we're going to put a time stamp on it to get that big ass goal. It might be 3 years from now. But I promise you that if we focus on the daily, we focus on the weekly, that we're going to get there. And we're going to be so much stronger up here, so much more resilient and able to withstand the pressures and the stress and anxiety of the mental health issues, stress and anxiety of our lives. We're going to be able to withstand so much more. We're going to be able to add more onto our shoulders because we're going to be so much better as a result of these 3 things. My lecture is done. Now it's time for you to get out of my office and go attack. Have an amazing day, and God bless.